Bromeliads are one of my favorite families of plants, and today we're going to find out why. I'm Merrideth Jiles with Backyard Basics, and today we're going to talk about dividing and repotting bromeliads. One of the reasons I really love bromeliads is because, like a lot of gardeners, I have this unquenchable thirst for more plants. And these plants are ones that just really keep on giving. Kind of like irises or agaves, they send out offshoots or pups, and you can actually divide these off and have an endless supply of plants. Now for this project, we're going to need a few things. First off, we're going to need a fairly coarse potting mix. You could use maybe a cactus or succulent mix, but I like to make my own mixes when I can. So we're going to use 2 parts coir or peat moss, as coarse as possible, 1 part expanded shale, 1 part perlite, and 1 part compost. Now for this compost, I actually went to a part of my compost pile that had a lot of leaves in it to get what we call leaf mold. This is what they would naturally be growing in nature, and so I always like to try to reproduce that kind of thing if I can. We're also, of course, going to need a pot. We're going to need some pruning shears and a sharp knife. We're going to need something like some plant pins or possibly some little stakes. And for some of these guys, you may want to wear gloves. I've done this for a long time, so I'm not going to worry about it. So first, we need to find a bromeliad that needs to be repotted. We have this guy here, and as you can see, there's one main plant in the center, but we've got lots of offshoots on the side. So first thing we're going to do is remove this from the pot. Now you might want to squeeze the pot. Sometimes you'll find it's really tight in there. We don't want to yank on the plant too much. Once we have it out of the pot, we need to find the pup or offshoot that we want to take off. So we're going to take this guy. So I'm going to start with my sharp knife, coming in carefully, working around all these roots. You can see all the roots in there. This guy definitely needs to be repotted. So we're just cutting through all these roots and things like that. Now as we get down to the real meat of this thing, these guys actually have kind of a rhizome like you would see on an iris or a agave or something like that. So we're probably going to have to take our shears and actually come in and cut it loose from the mother plant. So now we've got our pup. We're going to take this guy and place it in our pot. And then we're simply going to put some more of our soil around it. This is that same mix I was talking about. I already had it made up. Now we want to make sure that we've got good contact with the soil, but we don't want to bury it too deep, maybe an inch or 2. Get it nice and snug in there. Now one important thing whenever you're propagating something like this is to make sure that the plant stays in place where it needs to be. If it moves around too much, those roots will never take. So what I'm going to do today is actually take these 3 little stakes and just kind of make a little teepee around the plant. If you wanted to, you could take some garden tie or something like that and tie it on there. We just want to make sure it stays nice and secure in its place. Now once we've got this, we're pretty much done. We want to make sure and take this guy and put it in a bright place that gets a decent amount of bright shade, but not too much direct sun. And we're going to want to water it regularly and fertilize it maybe with a nice organic like fish emulsion and seaweed or something like that. Once you start to see new growth coming on, and you might even see more pups coming off of this, your plant's ready to be put in a bigger pot, transplanted into a mixed arrangement, or put out in the yard if it's a hardy bromeliad. So it's really as simple as that, and these plants can really just produce so many plants. One of my favorite plants there is. This is Merrideth Jiles with Backyard Basics.